Okay, hello there. I'm Dennis, and in this video we're going to install OpenSUSE. In this case, I downloaded and we're going to install the Tumbleweed version. We'll come back to that. Let me minimize this, bring up my Oracle VirtualBox. I have OpenSUSE set up. I've given it 4 gigabytes of RAM, 2 cores of my processor, and I have enabled the EFI. We'll click on Start and let's get started here. It defaults to the installation or upgrade or more. Let's see what more says. Rescue the system, boot Linux system, and check installation medium. I'll click on escape and boot from a hard disk. I'm going to hit installation and press enter. And again, we're in UEFI mode. That looks like. Thought we might have had to right Control F to get in full screen, take out some of that blindness. Looked like we might have had the VirtualBox additions installed, but so green is their color if you haven't noticed. And it is capturing my mouse, but way over here and on the other side. So give it 4 gigabytes of RAM, 2 cores of my processor. We're installing the Tumbleweed right down here at the bottom. It says OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. We'll talk more about the Tumbleweed version and what the difference between that and the stable release is. Or Leap, the Leap version. All right, come on, you can do it. I installed OpenSUSE on a laptop at the end of last year on an old Toshiba laptop. And it actually worked very well. And they're pretty much an individual OS. It's their own branch. And it's taking forever to load. Are we going to get it to load? There. To use the selected repository, a matching boot image is needed. Download it now and restart. Okay, so yeah, I guess it's loading it, looking for the OpenSUSE. So this is the net, I guess, installer, which was why the ISO wasn't so large, which means we should get quite a bit of options available during the installation as far as software selection goes. The Linux RC 7.0 kernel 5.8.7.1 is the default kernel. Right, I thought it just did all of this, but apparently not. Starting UDEV, we're going to watch that again. Oh, it downloaded it, now it's going to reinsert it into the system and restart, that's what it said. So no surprise. Taking a long time to load, especially considering I give it more than what the minimum requirement was as far as resources go. It may be still downloading some stuff. Who knows? Surely we're about 2 minutes into this. Not a case of a watch pot never boils. It's very slow. It is still making progress, but not very fast. Starting the installer. Got a mouse. And we do not have VirtualBox editions, and that's cool. That's all right. Hopefully we can read this. It's detecting the networks, driver information, current status, device configuration, network configuration, installation information, and routing configuration. All right, so they do make you agree to a license agreement. This agreement governs your download, installation, or use of OpenSUSE and its updates regardless of the delivery mechanism. And it's a pretty good lengthy thing, but I don't see anything in here that's like says it's going to spy on you or nothing like that. Okay, I'm going to select these. Keyboard test. Let's see. This is a octothorpe. That's correct. Okay, I'm going to select next. This says we should be getting the welcome screen unless this is called the welcome screen. It is. Now we're going to analyze the system. The system has an active network connection. Additional software is available online. Activate online repositories now? Yes. Download the list. Okay. Here we have options to deselect or select extra ones, but the default here looks okay. Non-OSS and OSS. We're going to agree with that one and just say next. Writing the list of online repositories. I'm assuming that's sort of like syncing the databases. Adding repository, main repository, OSS. So hopefully it's downloading all this information and software and what have you, and when it does get it all downloaded, the installation should go pretty quick because all the software should be available. Adding repository, main update repository. Alright, initializing the installation. Awesome. So it looks like according to the guide over here, we're going to select our desktop first, and I'm going to go with Xfce. It's nice to see that right at this point you could install the KDE, the GNOME, then a generic desktop, a server, and a transactional server. Like the server role, but uses a read-only root file system to provide automatic updates of a system without interfering with the running system. Nice. I'm going to select the Xfce desktop and I'm going to say next because I'm happy with that selection. But really you could only get like 4 desktops. Initial layout proposed with the default guidelines set up. Changes to partition. Create a boot 512 megabyte boot EFI. Create a partition of SDA2 with ButterFS, and at the end it's going to give us a 2 gigabyte swap. 9 subvolume actions. Create subvolume SA2, copy and write. That's tempting to accept that because that is a good layout. The only thing is it does not account for a home partition, and I believe that people should do that. So I'm going to say expert partitioner. Add a partition. Partition size, custom size. We're going to make this 512. Capital M for megabytes. That all looks good. Custom size, custom region, start block, end block, next. This is going to be a EFI boot partition. Alright, that's going to be formatted to a FAT32 boot EFI, S-tab options. Do not mount the device, EFI system partition. Okay, we're next. That's good. Alright, go back up to the remainder there again. Say add a partition. This one here, we're going to customize it as well. And we're going to say I want 496 capital G for gigabytes. And we're going to turn this into swap. The size entered is invalid. Oh. Alright, now let's try that again. Next, okay. This will be swap. Next. Alright, that all looks good. Linux swap, partition, encrypt. Nope. Next. Go back up to the remainder of the free space. Add a partition. Now this one will be customized. We'll just say 20 even. And that's good. Say next. This will be operating system, which will be the same as root, I assume. Let's see, next. File system, ButterFS, but it does have an option for the ext4. We'll leave that as the default ButterFS or btreefs. Mount point is /root, that's cool. Partition is Linux, that's cool. Leave that good, say next. Go back up to the remainder of here, the free space, and say add a partition. We only have 27 gigs left, and we're going to leave that at the maximum size there. Say next, and this will be data and ISV applications. Data, I guess, would be the same as home. File system, ButterFS, mount point is /home, so that was correct. Linux partition, we're going to say next, and we're good, accept. Now we got create a 512 boot. 4 gigabyte swap, 20 gigabyte for root and 27 for home. Now they go. That was a little complicated. More complicated than I remember OpenSUSE being. I should have got the download instead of the net installer, I guess. USA, we're going to change it from Eastern Time to Central Time in Chicago. Then we're going to say next. User's full name. I'll just give it my first name and call it done. We're going to select the password. Have to reconfirm it. Use this password for the system admin, automatic login. I'm not going to do that. And we're not going to skip the user creation. So next. Password is too simple. It is too short. You have used only lowercase letters for the password. The password should have at least 5 characters. Really want to use this password? Thank you for warning me. That was awesome for doing that. But I'm going to say yes. Let's see what we're doing here. Installation overview. This is a summary of what everything's going to happen here. Software, help, Yast, multimedia, graphics. I'm not going to have a choice of what software I want, it looks like. I don't think. Say install. Base is now complete. If you continue now, partitions on your hardware will be modified. Go back and check the settings if you are unsure. I'll say back just for a second here. Disable software. Aha! So if you didn't know that, or wasn't just curious like I was just in, you'd bypass this. We're going to get the Xfce desktop environment, multimedia, office software, games, technical writing, we'll leave that out. That's all the options under Xfce. Alright, print server, base technologies, documentation, help and support. It's already ticked. Containers, micro OS, app armor, SN links. Not a big selection of different software, but some. We're going to say OK. Alright, now it's evaluating our package selection. We should get a summary here or overview again. And now it added games, some stuff in graphics, multimedia, Xfce desktop environment. So I'm going to say information required, install. We're good to go. Installation is warming up. That's cute. This is the Tumbleweed version. We're going to wait for this to at least get started here. Then we'll skip out of here and go to their home page. Right, Control F will get me out of full screen here. Slide that over to the side for a second. Installing packages. OpenSUSE release notes. Now we got some action going on. Let me bring up their home page here. This is Tumbleweed. If you click right here where it says more information, you'll go to that link so that you could download it. But if it does have a link here, it says learn more. If this is already it right here, I should have just went to it. Tumbleweed distribution is a pure rolling release version of OpenSUSE containing the latest stable versions of all software instead of relying on rigid periodic releases cycles. The project does this for users that want the newest stable software. There is a warning here. Tumbleweed is based on factory. Any user that wishes to have newer packages than are available in the OpenSUSE Leap repositories. This includes, but is not limited to, updated Linux kernel, Samba, Git, desktops, Office applications, and many others. That's telling us about the Tumbleweed version. Let's go back to their home page, back to their main page. And if you click on the Leap here where it says more information, you really don't get anything more. There is not that Learn More tab here. New and experienced Linux users get the most usable Linux distribution and stabilized operating system with OpenSUSE's regular release. Receive updates and harden your OS with OpenSUSE's latest major distribution. Pick your desktop, configure your system, and enjoy the platform of choice for Linux developers, administrators, and software vendors. You don't really get a whole lot of information about it. These are the same options you'll see here under the Tumbleweed right here. So we have an open build service. We also have open QA, automated testing. We have Yast, Kiwi, and we'll go over that here in a minute. All right. One thing, Yast is yet another setup tool. Kiwi is a system image, usually called an image, is complete installation of Linux system within a file. The image represents an operation system and optionally contains the final configuration. You can actually use this keywing right here to build your own ISO, which they say is typically called an image. Let's see where the installers are going at right here. It's still installing packages. Got a little ways to go. Let me just minimize that. See where we're at here. Make that big. Remaining 3 gigabytes still downloading, but it is moving out pretty fast. Let me bring that to the center here. I'm going to pause the video and I will be back when it's closer or finished. Okay, so I'm going to come back a lot early here. I realized there was some points on the web page that I didn't point out. I'm back on OpenSUSE.org, the original page that we started on. Here you see the tools that they have available. Here it says click on there and go to the link, which will open up what it does. Welcome to the OpenSUSE Build Service, OBS, Open Build Service. The OpenSUSE Build Service is the public instance of the Open Build Service used for development of the OpenSUSE distribution and to offer packages from the same source for Fedora, Debian, Ubuntu, SUSE, Linux, Enterprise, and other distributions. To find further details, you can go to their wiki. It tells you about the build service. Welcome to the Open Build Service. OBS is a generic system to build and distribute packages from sources in an automatic, consistent and reproducible way. It makes it possible to release software for a wide range of operating systems and hardware architecture. Close out of that. We'll go back here to the OpenQA. Go to the link. When was the last time you were tested? OpenQA, question answer, is an automated test tool for operating systems and the engine at the heart of OpenSUSE's automated testing initiative. Here you can click on that and watch it in action. You come down here to learn more about their documentation, or in their documentation folder here. Get it. You can click on downloads or join. You can contact. Close out of that. We'll come back to Yast. From installation to fine tuning is both an extremely flexible installer and a powerful control center. It's an all-purpose tool for computing. Two full-featured interfaces. Okay, so click on that. That tells you about Yast. It's an installer. Kiwi, we go to there. It tells us about that. This documentation covers Kiwi, next generation, Kiwi NG, the command line utility to build Linux system appliances. An appliance is the same as the ISO. Got your documentation all over here to tell you about it, overview, the installation, quick start, working from the command line. So you can learn quite a bit about the process right here, which is pretty neat. Kiwi, create Linux images for deployment on real hardware, virtualization, and now even container systems like Docker. Kiwi is the engine that builds the OpenSUSE release images. The best only comprehensive Linux. That's pretty neat stuff. And I gotta say, their website is, again, it's remarkable. It's simple. Anything you want to know, though, can start right here. If a user is looking for OpenSUSE, when he comes to this web page, he's going to have two choices, and he can more likely going to click on more information, which will lead to this tab telling him a little bit more. And if he still is not sure, he can click on learn more, and that takes you more. It's pretty simple. Back to the main page here. Plus you have your categories up here. You got tools, news, contribute, and conferences. I think they just had a conference. I ought to read that. Pulse Audio 14 updates for Plasma and Firewall D. Pulse Audio update. That's always good. Design system, OpenSUSE design system, open source icons. Meet up with, here's the one I was talking about. I think they just had one of these. A curious lack of green. Sorry. Okay, so that's OpenSUSE. Let's see, I'm going to go to DistroWatch real quick. See where OpenSUSE is. There it is. OpenSUSE is number 12 ranking there on DistroWatch. And it's an independent system. Cinnamon, Enlightenment, GNOME, IceW Windows Manager, KDE Plasma, LXDE, LXQT, Mate, Xfce. Could be a desktop, a server, live medium. It can be used on a Raspberry Pi. So OpenSUSE is really I don't know the right way to say it. It's a bad to the bone. It's like Fedora. It's well laid out. It's not like Fedora. The web page is laid out like Fedora's. It's real nice. It's simple, easy to navigate. Like I said, it all starts right here too, starting with more information. So let's see where our installer's at this point. I'm going to have to pause the video again. Well, I'm going to come back and it just decided to reboot on its own. Wasn't even an option. You know how they give you the option to restart or continue testing. This baby just rebooted. Let me get Control F here. Full screen. Alright. Okay. That looks like light dim. Yeah, according to this, we got internet and we got sound. Let's see under settings. See if we can find the display right here. Let's make it 1680 by 1050. And keep this configuration, but close out of that. Here's our OpenSUSE welcome screen. Is this your first time using the OpenSUSE? We would like you to feel right at home in your new voyage. Take your time to familiarize yourself with all the buttons and let us know how you like the experience on our social media. So we got a README, we got documentation, get software, Xfce help, contribute, and build a OpenSUSE. Let's see what opens up when we click on software. And we're going to get a web page. Software, OpenSUSE Explorer. Will you open? Yeah. All distributions. We can search packages here. Not sure. Search. Nothing's happening. I'm not sure what that deal is. Here we go. No Mac. View. Just took it a minute. Tells you about it. That's pretty nice, really. Huh. Click to install. OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. 15 leap. Huh. So is that talking about installing Open with Yast? No Max free. Okay, we're going to say next. If you continue, the following changes will be made to your system. Good. Have you viewed the changes that we made of your system? Yes. In other words, are you sure? Yast is doing its thing. downloaded it. It's installing it, or it's downloading it still, even though it says it's only 32 megabytes. 32 megabytes, 8 packages, installing them now. Software is being installed. It was installed successfully. Finished. Oh. If you click on Get Software, I wonder if that's in the menu. Get Software. Nope. Go to Get. We got Character Map, Greeter Settings, Pigeon, Settings Manager, and Settings Editor. In order to open that link, you have to see this welcome screen. Let's see where it's at in here. Welcome. So we can untick the Show It Next Startup and just click Close. We can get help with Xfce, contribute, or build our OpenSUSE to read me, this, that, and the other. But we can get back to that from the menu. It'll open. There we go. Welcome. And that should bring it right back up. We can go to software that way. Close that out. Let's look at their menu. Is this the all window minimize thing? Yes. Notifications. The clock. Let's see. Is that the Xfce clock? It is. This is Wi-Fi. No, package updater. Package updater? Why won't it open? Huh. That's the network. This is the power. If you was on a laptop, we're going to remove that. Not on a laptop. And we do have sound out of the box. And it's picking up my microphone. Nice. It's always a plus. Alright, let's look in their menu real quick. Let me see if I can change that. You can see we get the icon here for our views. I'm going to change that if you don't mind. Properties, show it as a list. Position the categories next to the panel. Panel button. Open. SUSE. OpenSUSE. We're going to show the icon and the title. Wonder how quick that'll open up. All icons. Open. SUSE. So we got a couple. They said welcome, like DM, greeter. Try that one. Let's see. Can we make it bigger from this screen? Nope. Go here, I think. Panel preferences. Row sizes. Make them bigger. Do that automatically to the icons. And that's huge. Hey, it works though. That's awesome. Not all of them work well. That's big enough. Let's go back to the menu now. Under favorites, we got the terminal emulator. Is this the Xfce, or do they have their own? Xfce terminal, Xfce4 terminal. Tell you what, let me open that back up. Right out of the bat here. See if I can make this a little bigger. DF-H. And we got SDA3. Would have been our home. Root partition, 4.7 gigs. All right. 3 says we're using 554. Let's see, under system, do they have anything beside the task manager? Alright, no. So do they have HTOP? Nope. Alright, so go back to the menu here. Under accessories, we got the application finder. We got bulk rename. Hold on, I told myself I was going to start doing this. I'm going to open up Control-Alt-T, get me a terminal. It will. What I'm going to do with this space, that is, if I can get it to the right shape here. Maybe. Okay. Now, if I got any titles to go in this video, I'm going to put them here. And that way they should be visible to everybody. Alright, so under accessories, we got application finder, bulk rename, catfish file searcher, in-grandpa archive manager for your zip and unzip and raw files and etc. GNOME character map, light DM greeter settings, the Mate calculator, menu editor. That's probably Libre menu. Menu Libre. I always say that backwards. Mouse pad. password and keys, a screenshot. We're taking screenshots. Graphics, we got the scanners by default. We got GIMP, LibreOffice Draw, which indicates we're probably going to have the full suite of LibreOffice. Nomax, which I just installed off the internet. So we got Document Scanner, GIMP, LibreOffice Draw, which indicates we probably have the full LibreOffice suite. Nomax, which you just saw me install. Restretta Image Viewer, which is like Nomax kind of, most looking at video, pictures, photos. Shotwell to organize my photos. Under the internet, we got Firefox as the default web browser. Then we got Pigeon, chatting for chatting. Remina for connecting to remote desktops. Thunderbird for your mail. Tiger VNC Viewer. And Transmission for your qubit torrent, or not qubit torrent, your BitTorrent needs. Under Multimedia, Pro Media Player. That's a default Xfce software, Pulse Audio, and Praga, which is a media player. Music player. Sorry, I said media. Would you like to import home dentist music to the library? Now, just close out at that for now. So that was under Multimedia, Praga. Then we got Office, and we do have the full suite of LibreOffice here. And we got a dictionary and a document viewer, which is nice to have by default. Oh, that's nice. I don't know if I've seen that splash screen. Won't let me do that until I close that out probably. 7.31, 7031. Nice. That's like the latest version, I do believe. It's not, it's very close. That was under Office. That covers that. Under Settings, this would be all the stuff in the Settings panel here. We'll open that up in just a second. Under System, we do have GNOME Disk by default. System, again, we got Disk, like the GTK greeter settings, printer settings by default, Task Manager, Thunar File Manager. The welcome screen is under System, Xfce Terminal, Xterm, and Yast software. Going to require a root password. Let me get GNOME Disk out of the way here. About Disk. GNOME Disk Utility. And this is our virtual hard drive right here. Smart's not supported, of course. You can do a lot of stuff with this. GNOME Disk Utility there. Okay, so this is kind of like the Yast package manager. It looks a lot like, or a little like Synaptic. Let's see, do we need to refresh it? Repositories, check now, auto check, options, clean up, allow, extras, install all matching, restored, help. So I'm looking for refresh. View, patterns, contains. Not seeing one. Maybe it did that all by itself anyway. Okay, where is the search? Here we go, search. Let's say GNOME System Monitor. See what it comes up with. Process translations. There we go. We'll left click on that and select it. On monitor language, I got that. We're going to accept. It's going to say continue. It's going to change, make that change. It's downloading it and it will install it. Successfully finished. Continue. Alright, so I did not see a refresh. System verification, clean up when deleting packages, allow vendor change, dependencies, configuration, online update. These packages need to be installed. Update configuration. Let's go ahead and install them. Did not ask me for my root password again. Online update configuration, automatic update weekly. Edit software repositories. I'm going to say okay. That's going to check when I tell it to check, not automatically, which is cool. Nice. Let's see. Do one more. And there it is. We mark that for installation. Say accept. It's going to show me what it's going to do. I'm going to say continue and install. That makes it fairly easy to Install packages. It's installed successfully. I'm finished. Now let's go back to the menu here. Go up to the settings manager. About me, that would be mugshot. So it's already got my name in there. I'm going to say OK. If I wanted to put a name there, or a picture, I'm sorry, I just click on it and it'll say select from stock or browse. Let's see what they got as stock. Let's give it a penguin, say OK, and say apply. Nope, don't want to do it to LibreOffice, but I could, which is nice. Appearance, let's see, we got a couple of styles. Greco Geeko Light, Geeko Dark, let's click on that. Adwaita Dark, that's not too bad. Icons, Elementary, Xfce, fonts, and settings. We're going to enable event and system sounds. No scaling. Alright, ICT web control panel. That's a nice setting right there. I'm not so familiar with it, I can tell you everything, but you can set up basically a shortcut for a web browser to a specific website. So that's the only browser, the only link that you'll have is that one link, and it'll open up whatever, like a banking or a credit card or anything, shopping, Amazon, Google, whatever. File manager settings, desktop, ICT web policy editor, menu editors in the settings panel. That's cool. Panel profiles came in by default. Panel notifications, restore panel defaults. Oh, that's awesome, because I've messed mine up a bunch of times, and at the time didn't know how to get it back. Session and startup, workspaces. Pretty much a nice settings panel here. Mouse. See if we got any mouses. Nope, just the one. Just the one. And that's okay, because you know you can get some more. Removable drives. Let's see what that's exactly the options I would have selected there. Cameras, printers, we don't have any of that right now. Package update indicator preferences. That would be this thing. Refresh cache daily. Alright, I can do that. That's nice. Alright, so that's the panel. And that's the menu. Yast management system-wide settings. I'm going to give it my root password. Sign in as an administrator. Control center. Media check. Software repositories. Management system. You change probably the date and the time right there. Let's try that just to see if it's easy. Yep, you can change your time zone. That's cool. So if you move somewhere and you carry your computer with you, you just redo it right there. Network server, hardware. That's what I want. A printer, scanner. We don't have a sound. Bootloader, date and time. System date and time. Partitioner. System config. Miscellaneous. Alternatives. File system snapshots. Security and users. App armor. Firewall. I wonder what firewall they're using here. Let's open it and find out. Virtualization, you could have that set in here by default. Configuration, startup, firewall. Wonder if there's a help or an about. Current status of the surface. I guess that's help. Not sure what to look for. About. See if there's anything about. Nope. So that's your writing configuration. Start on boot. Interfaces. So this is a really detailed firewall that you could probably get lost in. I was hoping there was just a default that would turn it on. I guess accept here, maybe. I'm hoping that was what that is. Virtualization. Systemd journals. Port, miscellaneous. Miscellaneous, always nice to look at. Vendor drive. That's pretty good. That's the Yast control center. Green is not such a bad color. It's close to blue. Go back to their menu here. I think we covered it all. We know how to get software. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see, what can we do in here? LSB, okay. List our disk. We should have 4 EFI, 4 gigabyte swap. Oh, I installed System Monitor. Let's open that up. The resources. It says 927 megs. Let's see. Not found. Top. Not found. Top. Always found. CPU, memory, 398. I give it 4 gigs. Let's see, it's using, that's 1.2 megs, I believe. How that reads there. Alright. Yep, don't ask me again. Alright, so that's not too bad. That's a typical Xfce desktop anymore. Around a gig, a little less usually for me, in my experience, but around a gig. And plus I've been opening up stuff and checking it out here. Oh, the Praga music player is still open. I thought I closed that out. I did. Let me close it this way then. Nope. Close. System monitor. That closed. Well, that just is irritating. Tools. Preferences. Audio appearance. General. Typing. Store. Appearance. Desktop. Minimize progress when closing the window. Undo that. That might do it. Let's find out. I did it. Cool. More than one way to skin a cat. Fish. We've looked through the menu. This is OpenSUSE. It's an independent-based Linux operating system. This is the Xfce desktop. I could have selected a lot more software during the install that I didn't install. Could have. You saw how easy that was to install. And they seem to have their own little thing for everything, and they have a huge repository. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Y'all have a good day. Bye.